So the Chaos Dwarves are coming, and with their lore, the lore of Hashut, we do have a brand new set of spells to cover. The very simple way of talking about this lore is damage. It's all about damage. The lore passive is just an army-wide... Where is it? There it is. Killing Fire. Just affects your enemy army, damage per second. A little bit of a tickle, but the more you cast it, the more damage it'll do to the rest of the army. And out of all the spells, let's see... Single target damage, AoE damage, AoE damage, AoE weakness to fire, increasing your damage, melee defense, making it easier to deal damage to them, and fireball type looking thing that does AoE damage and spawns a vortex. So more damage. It's just a damage lore. Which isn't bad. It's not bad for a lore to have an identity. I will say, out of the spells as we go through them, which ones I think are good and which ones I think are generally bad. And first off is this Sorceress Rock Lob looking thing. I generally don't think it's that good. The little swirly do could be alright if you're standing still, but I do worry about friendly fire potential, and just those are basic men-at-arms, and that 6 Winds of Magic didn't really do that much damage. So, meh. Meh, says I. And wait. The lore passive didn't do any damage. What the hell? The lore passive on that cast, I didn't get it. What the heck? Okay, that's kind of dumb. So, that's the first spell. Second spell is the Ash Storm. While it looks cool, I don't know. A slow field? Where are you? Dang it. Come here. A slow field of 25% and of 20% weakness to fire damage for 10 Winds of Magic is really expensive. I don't anticipate that being a very good spell. Maybe to buff your units that already do fire damage, you just give some people some fire weakness. I don't know, though. There's a ton of other stuff in this dwarf roster that does that. Yeah, including this guy's own flammable missile, so it's just probably not worth the Winds of Magic. I don't think we'll be seeing a lot of that spell. Dark Subjugation is cast on these men-at-arms. It's a pretty decent debuff. I could see that being used on the Chaos Dwarf roster for sure, especially at high levels of play. Maybe not in campaign, where just AoE damage spells are much more important, and this lore is full of them. But for only 6 Winds of Magic, minus leadership, minus melee defense, is really, really good. So I think we'll see a good amount of that. The fourth spell is the Curse of Hashut. 11 Winds of Magic for direct damage, much like Spirit Leech. Nice, cool animation of a big steel skull over him, and it does pretty decent damage over an amount of time. But that's all it really is. I don't think it'll be that good of a spell. It feels like it does as much as Spirit Leech for more Winds of Magic. And again, the lore passive, the direct damage over the whole army, I don't know if it's bugged or if it's just really weak, but I haven't really been noticing it in this test. So I don't predict that Spirit Leech type spell being that good. Resetting my opponents to get the other spells off, we do have the big hitters, probably the most commonly used in campaign. Where are you? Where's the hammer one? There it is. Hellhammer, the wind spell. Wind spells in general are just very, very good in campaign. This one has an exceptionally beautiful animation. And it goes very far, too, doing a lot of damage down the line. Now, 50% armor piercing, and these are men-at-arms, but still, it does a lot of damage. And an overcast actually extends out the range, so you can clear out much further and kill a lot of units. Get rid of chaff that could otherwise weigh you down. The last spell, the Flames of Asgore. I am conflicted. It is a wide strike area, with the initial burst being like in the center, and then it pops up and all these things go everywhere and do a cluster grenade type formation. It does a good amount of damage, but I don't know how to really avoid doing friendly fire. It also feels a little random. I don't know. It could be good on maybe domination when you have a central point where probably a lot of people will be. I'm not sure how common it'll be in land battles. In campaign, of course, it's going to be great, especially in sieges where people get clumped up at choke points in cities and such. That's going to be an amazing spell for clearing out that stuff. So campaign is campaign, you do what you want, but for multiplayer, I think only 2 spells in this entire lore are really going to shine. I expect to see a decent amount of Hellhammer, especially the Overcast, clearing out a ton of area. Mostly archer-based factions, probably like High Elves or something, that have nice, neat archer lines where you could take out maybe 3 archers in a row. I could see a lot of that, plus the debuff spell, the minus 24 melee defense and minus 8 leadership, it being relatively cheap, and how the Chaos Dwarves have really good cavalry presence. I could also see that being a good spell. The other 4 I honestly just don't see being that useful in multiplayer, but I am ready to be wrong. Hopefully you are all excited to use the new lore. I know I sure am. And yeah, in campaign, you're going to kill a crap ton of peasants. Roar!
Subscribe, yes, yes.